Okay. So this last chapter, Yuta broke his domain on purpose. Okay, people think that he got bodied, he's dead. Well, first of all, Rika's still there, which means he's alive. They took him away, and we also know that Sukuna mentions that he broke his domain on purpose. Okay, now this also means that Gojo probably survived the slash at the very least, this means that he can serve that it's you are able to survive the world cutting slash if you're strong enough, right? Also, Maki did pretty decent considering the fact that Urume is like, oh, Sukuna's not even trying, which is okay, whatever. And although speaking of Maki, those panels, was it just me or the panels looking a little wonky? You know what I'm saying? There were also a few panels of Hakari, which was when Urume was talking with him, which kind of begs the question if we're gonna see the fight between Hakari and Urume. Probably not what happened already. Maybe if they're gonna continue from where they were talking. Even then, it's like I wouldn't mind not seeing it, considering the fact that Hakari can really only punch and kick, while on the other hand, well, to see Urume's full curse technique and all she can do, that might be cool. But outside of that, I mean, there's not much that he can do. I mean, obviously, it's always a good fight, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Although, speaking of what Urume is capable of, we know that Yuji is capable of RCT, but he hasn't been doing it to the 100%, right? He's coughing out blood. He's not actually completely healing himself, which is fine. Big Bro Choso is going to help him out with that. But really, at this point, I don't really know what's going to happen because the next chapter is what? Say it's Maki versus Sukuna. Like Urume said, the minute Sukuna tries, she's dead. Everyone's dead, right? So, although everyone's been tricking Sukuna, right? So at the end of the fight, maybe that's when everyone pulls up. Like Gojo would trick him that he's dead and he's actually still alive. Higuruma as well, tricking, or not necessarily tricking, they're pretty much bodied, they have to heal themselves. But they're making Sukuna think that they're out of battle, right? Out of commission. Although he realizes that they're being taken out from the battlefield, right? Gojo's actually alive, everyone's talking about that losing an eye because it's always foreshadowed or whatever. Also, the Executioner Blade being paused and not deleted because he's actually still alive for Higuruma. And then Yuta tricking him that he broke his domain. He just got taken out and he's going to come back. Speaking of domain, I just remembered the fact that he can move the domain, right? And this isn't just Hakari, because Hakari was the first one to do where he moved the domain over the water and stuff. But then Yuta also moved it so that he would be closer to where everyone else was. Which begs the question, if they can move domains, why couldn't Gojo move his domain, right? Like, if it's in the range of Sukuna and that first clash or whatever, it makes it a little stronger, couldn't he just move it? Like, that's the thing. How fast is it? Because Sukuna doesn't realize, or the opponents don't realize when the domain's being moved, right? Because Sukuna didn't realize it was being moved. Was it who did Hakari fight? It was Kashima, right? He also realized, oh, damn, he moved it and he fell down in the water. So I feel like when you're in your domain, you don't realize it's being moved. So I can see Gojo being able to move it. Or is it because they're clashing that he can't move it? But even then, that doesn't make sense because it's a barrier versus barrierless. And since Gojo can move coordinates and all that, maybe he could, like, I don't know, teleport the whole domain out of there. I mean, he can control the domain's size, the conditions, things that Kusakabe says, like, impossible. So why wouldn't it? I don't know. This is just headcanon again. Like I said, I personally think, well, I don't know. Gojo might come back. Anyway, I digress. All in all, I'm just excited for the next chapter already. Honestly, like I said, every time I read a chapter, I'm already waiting for the next chapter. Speaking of the next chapter, well, not related, but can Gojo hit the soul, right? Because we know that Gojo was able to see the two souls inside of Sukuna's body when he was referring to who was taking the infinite void. So he can see the soul. But the reason I'm saying this because I don't know, I might have overlooked this, or maybe other people as well. The fact that Uraume's injury still hurts after healing it. Like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, what? Like, it's those little details that Gege puts in there. It's like maybe it has more meaning to it, right? Like the covered eye, but because Gojo hit her and they used RCT and it still hurts, it might be because he hit the soul directly, right? And that can't be healed with RCT unless you know the outline of your soul and all that. And even then, it's more complicated in RCT. It's harder and all that. Anyway, but that was just a quick thing I was thinking about. Also, Uraume exposed that Sukuna has gone all out, before, right? Now you might say, okay, what's the big, what does it matter? Well, that just goes to show that there was someone, or at least maybe it was the group when they were jumping him back in the Heian era, where they're like, oh, everyone jumped him, right? Maybe that was enough for him to go all out. But I don't think so, considering the fact that like some of the squad members were beat by Yorozu, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And we saw Suguna like body Yorozu like no diff, right? And also Uro, the one who can manipulate the sky, was also part of that, like those squads or whatever. And well, she was petrified. She was even as strong as Yuta, and everyone else is above that. So I don't know. I don't think that's who pushed them to. I mean, maybe all of them together might have pushed him to the limit, but the fact that Uruume knows the peak of his actual power kind of shows that there can be a scenario where he has to go all out. I mean, now he can't even because he's cut down to half of his curse energy reserves, right? But we'll see. Maybe he eats the merger and then gets his his curse energy completely back and is back to square one. I mean, that's it. We just have to wait till the next chapter, and that'll be next week. No, in a few days. Cause what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you have your own ideas, comments below, and that's it. Thanks for watching.